Hello again everyone, and as always thank you very much for clicking on one of my videos. So here I am again, back at the woods after the squirrels, and I've tucked myself into the back of some brush here and just sat on my cushion, just hoping I'll blend in with the surroundings, and got the usual kit, FX Dreamline Saber Tactical in .22 and the Wulf 4K scope, and I'm just sat there waiting for the squirrels to appear, and I've got the little action camera just fixed on the end of the rifle there, so you can see what's sort of happening at my end, and we do some recording through the 4K scope. So here we go. So this was the first visitor to the feeder, and in fact this jay was visiting all morning long, and there's not too many jays in the woods, so I leave them alone because they're such a beautiful bird, but they are on the Vermin list in the UK here. But with the amount of nuts this jay was eating, probably ate his weight in nuts in the morning that I saw him there. He came back several times, but at the moment I'm putting up with him, and it's a beautiful bird to look at, so quite happily just to have a look at him at the moment. But if he keeps eating the amount of nuts he's been eating, I might have to rethink that one. Okay, first squirrel of the session coming up. Just cocked my rifle. I've been watching this squirrel just for a little while, and he comes very slowly towards the feeder but stops right there, and he just stops just that bit too long, so the inevitable happens. Okay, so that's the first one in the bag, and I'll show you the view of that from the scope and slow it down a little bit for you. Okay, now I've been watching this squirrel for quite some time, and he's been to-ing and fro-ing around the branches here to my left hand side, slowly making his way towards the feeder until he got to this point. And I think there's every possibility perhaps he noticed me, because he stopped on this branch for quite some time, as you'll see. And I'm not in my usual sort of hide or anything, I'm just sat on the floor, although tucked into the brush a fair bit. So he literally just stayed there for, again, way too long, and so here we go. So it's a great hit, it's instant lights out, and again this squirrel's just doing a bit of the old squirrel breakdowns, where he's brain dead and all his nerves and everything are firing off. So he's totally dead at this point, but just thrashing around with the nerves eventually dissipating out of him. So again, I'll show you that shot through the scope, slow down, get a good view of it while I have a coffee. Now there's a bit of eye juice coming up, so look away if you're squeamish now. Okay, this next squirrel shot, just like the true professional I am, I forgot to hit the record on the scope, so there's no scope cam or scope view footage on this one. Just ugly me, but here you go. There you go. Now that was a good headshot. Right off the tree, opposite the feeder, or on the same tree the feeder is on, just opposite side of the feeder. He stopped for quite a while there, and I took the shot, and it was a good shot. And as normal, he thrashed around a bit, and I'm just watching him, making sure everything's okay. And he soon settles down, and I go to switch the scope off in a second, you'll see. So there you go. I go and press the button, and instead of switching it off, I've actually just switched it on, and I record several minutes of absolutely nothing until I realise. But there you go, these things happen. Must be time for a coffee. Now here's a squirrel that came out and sat on this treetop branch, and I think he was just having a sunbathe. He stayed there for several minutes, and he was always just not quite in view. He shuffled around a bit now and again, but there was always a twig or something in his way. Now I think I probably could have hit him with a body shot, which I'm sure would have dispatched him, but I always like to try and get squirrels in the head with the air rifle, definitely with the .22. So I watched him for quite a time before he eventually just upped and scooted away. Now again, I've been watching a squirrel for quite some time, moving around in and out of the bush, in and up and down the trees, etc., until I totally lost sight of him. So I got the thermal out and had a good look around, etc. But there was absolutely no sign of him at all. Just disappeared. So I put the thermal down, sit back and relax, even turned the little action camera off, and as you'll see in a second, he surprised me and popped straight back up again. Or perhaps it was a different squirrel altogether. And just where I'm sat, I can just lean back against a fallen branch and just chill out and look up at the sky. What a day to spend your morning. So here's possibly that squirrel. It suddenly popped out, and this time I forgot to put the action camera on. So all you're getting is the scope cam footage, which is the best footage of course. And he very quickly appeared and then disappeared there. So I was expecting to see him at the base of the tree, but he jumps up on the log just to the right that you'll see in a moment. And there's a brick on there with a little dot on, you can just see, which I zeroed this morning on. And he runs straight along there, straight up the tree to the feeder. And as you'll see, he grabs a peanut and sits up just perfectly. So I put a couple of clicks of zoom on the scope. And there you go. Now there's plenty of claret here, spreading all down the tree trunk, or the base of the tree, and whee! Off he goes into the afterlife. Happy days. And let's see that slow down. Now look at all that claret coming out, all down the base of the tree, making it all nice and wet, ready for the slide. Here we go. Whee! Bye bye. Okay, just got to go and do the pickup, and hope to see you all again very soon. Thanks very much for now. Bye bye.